Ladies and gentlemen, the AFL was cramming again. One round just ended last night and another one starts this morning. And it's very, very tough to try and get all the videos that I did have planned because the AFL always just seems to get in the way. But it's a happy thing, man. I've always enjoyed making AFL videos and I'm going to keep on doing it. Let's go into round 16 of the AFL right now. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. This is going to be an AFL Round 16 tips video where we go through all of the games that happened in Round 16 and give my honest and true opinions on every single game. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below who do you think will win out of all the games that is happening at the moment, or if you'd like to talk about your team specifically, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But before we get into round 16, since there will not be an AFL round 15 results video due to time restraints, unfortunately, these rounds are coming quick and fast. And this week, unfortunately, with my uni work and with the AFL pretty much starting the next round straight away, I cannot make two videos on this matter within the right time frame, and I don't feel like it would be worth making a predictions video well into the round. So I'm going to just say a few things that I've always said. So the wins and the losses and the winners of the week and the losers of the week for round 15. So round 15, I got 4 out of 6 correct, which is not too bad. My record will be shown now for the whole entire season. And obviously, the two that I got wrong was Adelaide and Hawthorn. Was very unexpected, extremely unexpected, but in the end, rightfully deserved. Melbourne and Sydney, of course, I got that one wrong. I think a lot of people would have got that wrong. And in the end, that is those are the two I got wrong. And the winners of the week, I'm going to give to Adelaide because they finally got their first win, and I think they well and truly deserve that. And I think that they probably didn't deserve to go winless, and I'm happy for them that they didn't. And the losers of the week, I'm going to give to Hawthorn, probably the team that versed them, because they were the one that conceded the win to Adelaide. So fair play, man. In the end, that's a hell of an achievement. And honestly, I'm not the biggest Adelaide fan, but I'm very, very happy with them getting a win, because I really thought, especially in some time in the middle of the season where they were fighting for every single game and they just didn't have the quality, and they finally ended up getting a win. And I think they're going to end that season, at least for those players, with something to believe in, knowing that they can beat an AFL side. And maybe next year their aim will be even higher. So that is all I have to say. The winners and the losers, how many I got right and wrong. 4 right, 2 wrong out of the 6. So there you go. We'll move on to the round 16 tips for the AFL. And these ones are very important, just like every other week. But most importantly, there's not many buys happening. There's only 2 teams that have a buy this week. So the first game of the episode that we need to talk about is North Melbourne and Port Adelaide. Now look, I don't know if there's going to be any person in the world that will tip North Melbourne to beat Port Adelaide. I will back the Port Adelaide Power. Very, very good team. North Melbourne have been struggling very, very, very hard throughout this period. And I don't see them crawling back out of it for the remainder of the season. In my opinion, this is a very, very easy choice for me. I think I'd back the Power, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was by a lot. I don't know what North Melbourne will bring to this fight, but it doesn't look like they're going to bring heavy weaponry. They're not going to bring the firepower to stop Port Adelaide, and I think that's fairly comfortable in the end. We're going to move on to the next game between the St Kilda Saints and the happy team of Hawthorn, who are not so happy at the moment. Look, Hawthorn would be down in the dumps against Adelaide when they lost that game. I'm sure any team that would have lost to Adelaide this season, especially towards the end when they know that they were on the verge of not having a win this season, any team that would have lost to them would have absolutely been down in the dumps and have all confidence lost. So there's two things that can happen in this situation. Hawthorn are a team that have surprised a couple of teams with how close they've made their games. But unfortunately, the way that I see this going is the second option, and that is that they're going to get absolutely destroyed by St Kilda. St Kilda are a very good team. We all know that. And I think St Kilda are a much faster paced team than Hawthorn. Hawthorn have I wouldn't even say they have experience, but they are aging. And St Kilda are very fast. I think they're going to run laps around Hawthorn, to be honest. And I'm going to back St Kilda in a very easy affair for them. I do not see this game being close. But things have happened, man. Stranger things have happened in this AFL season. And you have to say that it's not a foregone conclusion, but it's definitely the right choice for me to make in this episode. Next up, we've got Geelong and Essendon. Now, Geelong had a bye, I believe, recently, so they should be fresh for this game. And overall, I do think Geelong have the better team. Essendon are fighting for their lives. I don't think that loss last week helped them in any stretch. Even though they were supposed to probably lose that game, they weren't favourites to win and they didn't win. They are fighting for their lives. So I don't see this being a very, very hard game for Geelong, but I do think this could definitely be a close game. I don't think Geelong should have any issues, though. I do think they will be that team that keeps the lead throughout the entire game, but anything can happen, man. You saw with opposition that are not the greatest quality have beaten decent sides, and Essendon might have to do that in order to keep their season alive. I do think if Essendon lose, they're actually not going to make the 8. I don't think it's possible for them, but I could be wrong. Maybe it depends on other people's results as well. So I am going to back Geelong in this game because I do think overall they are in great form. They are the much better team, and I don't see them doing any favours for a team like Essendon, who are fighting for their lives. And it's as simple as that, really. We're going to have to move on and hope that Essendon have a little bit of fight in them and get a good game out of it at least. I don't really want Essendon to win, but I do expect a good fight, and that's all I can really ask for. So next up, we've got the Western Bulldogs and the West Coast Eagles. The Doggies and the Eagles. Usually, I believe these games between these two teams have been fairly decent for a lot of recent history. I don't remember West Coast ever thrashing the Bulldogs, but I could be wrong there too. Bulldogs are another team that is fighting for their season. So it's going to be very interesting, to be honest, because I do see them bringing the fight to this game. But I don't really know what the Bulldogs have done against the top sides. They've come close, but I don't think they've beaten anyone of significance. They're going to have to really, really put a shift in to beat the West Coast Eagles, who in the end are very comfortable favourites in this game. Look, I see the Bulldogs having a lot of problems with West Coast, so I am going to back the West Coast Eagles. In the end, I do expect this game to be a very good game as well. And if the Bulldogs win, they will save their season. But I do think if they lose, they are probably the most likely to fall out of the 8 race if they lose this game. So they cannot afford to lose. But in the end, sometimes it's out of their control. And that's the worst situation to be in when you don't have control on your season. So the best thing for Bulldogs is just to forget about what's happening and go and give it everything. Don't worry about the 8. Don't worry about the ladder. Just go and win the game. And then the rest will sort itself out. And if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. But at least know that you gave everything to the cause. And that's where I see the Bulldog situation being at the moment. Again, we're going to have to wait and see. If they do win this game, they're basically keeping their season alive. If they lose, then they will be pretty much eliminating themselves out of the top 8. Next up, we've got Melbourne versus the Fremantle Dockers. Now, Fremantle were woeful last week in their game, and Melbourne with a very, very surprising loss to Sydney. Sydney were far and away the better team in that game for the first half especially. Then the second half, it was very, very even. But in the end, Melbourne are making things very, very difficult for themselves. And that seems to be the situation with Melbourne every year. They make it a lot harder than what it needs to be. Melbourne could have easily secured 7th or at least stayed 8th in this round if they just got that win, even if it was by a small amount. But unfortunately for them, they were unable to do that. They were very unsuccessful, and where the situation was at its hardest, they ended up blowing it. Now, in the end, Melbourne could, again, lose this game to Fremantle. But I think Fremantle, especially with this run of form, I do think they have a few injuries on their belts as well. Melbourne should be the comfortable winners in this game. But again, anything can happen. If Melbourne bring the same type of play that they brought against Sydney, there's going to be a chance that this game will be extremely close. And I've said on many occasions that Fremantle are a better side than Sydney. So we will have a tough test. But in the end, you expect Melbourne to not come out that flat 2 weeks in a row. I don't think they've done it all season. They've had a very flat game against the Power. Then they've come out against, I believe it was Adelaide, and really put a shift in. And I think that's exactly what they're going to need to do. We need a response from this performance. And that's what's going to make a good side from a bad side. The response after a shocking or terrible loss. And we're going to have to wait and see if Melbourne are that team that can come back after a very poor loss. Next up, we've got the GWS Giants and the Adelaide Crows. The Pride of South Australia got their first win last week, or last round, I should say, on Tuesday. So absolutely sensational, but the Giants are comfortable favourites, and again, the Giants are fighting for their season, so I do not see them slipping a game like this away. They have to win, and they will win. I'm backing the Giants. Again, I think the Giants are 8th now, and they've grabbed that position now, and it's theirs to lose. In the end, the Melbourne and Giants game could ultimately be the decider of who makes the 8 and who drops out. So Melbourne needs to be in that situation, and so do the Giants. If the Giants or Melbourne end up losing, then that situation could potentially not be there. So the Giants have to win, and I am going to back them. Again, they're versing the worst team in the competition. You do expect them to comfortably win this game, but again, there's no surprises in the AFL anymore. I'm not going to be surprised. So many unpredictabilities every single season. Maybe Adelaide have the best confidence in the world after that victory, and they're going to try and end the season with respect. And maybe they do that by beating a team like the Giants, but the Giants are comfortable for me. Next up, we've got Carlton and Sydney. This game, in my opinion, will be the toughest game to decide in this round. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, like Sydney are not that great of a team, and in the end, how can I say that when my team lost to them? I can't really say that anymore because I've talked the talk and Melbourne didn't back me up on it. So I still think Sydney are not a great side, and I do think Sydney are very young and they're very hungry, but in the end, the quality is not going to be there, and that means the consistency is not going to be there. Carlton are in a very similar boat, but obviously a lot further ahead than where Sydney are at the moment. Carlton are still fighting for a top 8 spot. If they win this, they give themselves a glimmer of hope. So yeah, the loss to the GWS Giants really put Carlton in a very difficult situation, but I do think that they're not going to go down, and Patrick Cripps, I believe, said this in an interview, that they're not going to go down without a fight. They're going to go down swinging, and in a game like this, I think that they really do need to beat Sydney, and I don't know if Sydney will consistently play the way that they played against Melbourne. So I am going to back the Blues here. That's very difficult for me. And I know I've backed the Blues a lot this season because I truly think they've taken the next step in their progression of their career. I really do believe that. And in order for them to keep on doing that and to keep on impressing and keep on making people believe in them, they need to win games where they are the comfortable favourites to win and not drop the ball and not give up and not actually get so close that they fall so far down. And I don't think they're going to do that. I do think they're going to win this game, and I feel like they have to win to keep their season alive. I'm not sure where they are placed at the moment in the 8, but I do think that there is a slight chance that they could still make it. So they should have won last week and they didn't, and they should win this week, and let's see if they do. Last but not least, we've got the Brisbane Lions versus the Gold Coast Suns. This one is, again, a pretty straightforward one for me. I am going to back the Lions. Lions had a very good win over Collingwood. Wasn't pretty, but they got the job done, and it was very, very close. And I always said I think Collingwood would have a chance to beat Brisbane, and they're not playing great football. But in the end, Collingwood are better than Gold Coast, even with the injuries, and Brisbane should comfortably see this one through as well. Those are all of the predictions, all the tips that I have for the AFL Round 16 of the AFL. The teams that do have a bye, and this is very interesting because The teams that do have a bye is Collingwood and Richmond. Now, if things go against Collingwood and they have teams like the Giants and the Demons and maybe even the Western Bulldogs or Essendon, Collingwood could seriously be in jeopardy if they don't win the game next week that they have, because this bye has come at a very bad time for them. And they could seriously be part of that race that falls out. They did very well in their last 2 games. They lost to Brisbane, but they did very well to beat the Blues, and they had to win that game. And now that they're in a comfortable position, this week could seriously put them back in that danger zone. So it's going to be very interesting. Again, these byes are really affecting how the season could progress. If everything goes well, and the teams that are expected to win the top 8 race, man. Teams like Essendon, Melbourne, GWS, Bulldogs, all these teams, even to an extent St Kilda, are all going to be fighting to keep their spot. It's going to be very interesting, man. This is why the AFL is so great. Towards the end of the season, teams are fighting for their lives, and that's where the best footy should be coming from. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. A little bit of a longer video. I apologize. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.